My name is Jeannie Castine, and I am the executive director with an organization called SecularAZ. We are a nonprofit focused on the separation of religion and government at every level of government. In 2010, our organization was founded by a bunch of atheists, agnostics, humanists, people who consider themselves spiritual, but overall, people who support the idea of secular government. So, since 2010, for 15 years now, our organization has been showing up here at the Capitol, and more recently, we are forced now to pay attention to school boards, to city councils, and of course, to what's happening in the White House, because they are using that as a blueprint to dismantle government at every single level.
No kings!
No kings is right. So, over the last decade, we've noticed that wall that divides religion and government has been eroding, and at an accelerated pace. We have found ourselves engaging in the most local of politics to keep that wall standing. And right now, we need all hands on deck. Does anybody here remember when the Republican Party was known as the party of local control? Remember that? So let's talk a little bit about local control in Arizona, because when Bisbee, Arizona decided back in 2017 that they wanted to get rid of single-use plastic bags, this legislature over here stepped in and took away their funding unless they would rescind that city ordinance. Party of local control, not so much. When local communities like Sedona or other places in Arizona are trying to control vacation rentals and limit them, this state legislature, often those who are profiting from their rental properties, make those restrictions less. They make it easier for outside investors to come into the state of Arizona, despite what the people have sent them here to do. Local control, not so much. Does anybody remember when the Republican Party was the party of law and order? That used to be a thing. Up until really recently, too, right? So they look the other way when it comes to these kinds of conflicts of interest that happen with their own properties that they own, right? And then they vote for a convicted felon and adjudicated rapist. Make it make sense, people. They want to criminalize anybody whose lifestyle does not comport with theirs. These people celebrated the release of the January 6th traitors, who are now making our cities less lawful and less orderly. Again, make it make sense. In DC, an unelected immigrant and his team of adolescent douche lord oligarchs now have access to all of our personal data and our personal information. And I don't know about y'all, but I've actually been checking my voter registration just because I don't know if I'm going to be registered to vote tomorrow. And if they pass this SAVE Act because my dumb ass decided to take my ex-husband's name, I might not be able to vote ever again. Do you remember when the Republican Party was the party of family values? That was cute, right? They have no problem electing an adulterer and a rapist and his weird sidekick who had what? His 13th or 14th kid with however many wives or women he's been with? You know, that's not the party of family values. Evangelical extremists in this state have systematically removed social safety nets in Arizona to ensure that everyone has equal opportunity to access basic needs like food, shelter, and medicine. In Arizona, the party of family values accused trans people and drag queens of being groomers, but year after year, this legislature blocks a bill that would mandate that clergy report sexual abuse. It almost seems that every accusation is a confession. Do you remember when the Republican Party was the party of fiscal responsibility?
No.
Meanwhile, they're giving tax breaks to millionaires, billionaires, and corporations, and all of us. Sorry, I lost my spot. And all of us fund the private, religious, and homeschool education for children who never even went to public schools. In those schools, there's no transparency, there's no accountability. They could be teaching children that the earth is 6,000 years old, that women are to be obedient wives and mothers, and nothing more. Meanwhile, 12.3% of Arizona's education budget goes to 6.3% of the families that use those vouchers. That is not fair. That is not America. Okay, I'm getting there. All right. There is a reason why the gender binary is so important to these people, because they demand that one half of the population is absolutely obedient to the other. And they need to make that binary the law of the land so that everybody conforms to their archaic ideologies.
Help me!
In these schools, by the way, in these schools, employees do not have to have background checks or fingerprint clearance cards. They rage about drag queens and trans people, but the calls are coming from inside the house. Every accusation is a confession with these people. In Peoria Unified School District, we have a president on that school board who loves parental rights. She demands parental consent at her school while she accuses everybody of indoctrinating children. And at the last 2 board meetings, she's reading scripture while children are present, completely depriving those parents of their parental control and their parental consent. These folks see children as property, plain and simple. They shield abusers, they vote for abusers, and they block policies and curriculum that would keep children safe from abuse.
That's right.
They don't want children to have access to safe, caring adults because because someone might find out what they're doing to their children behind closed doors. This same district is voting to get rid of social workers because they say social workers are transing our kids. Maybe social workers are providing that child with a safe space when they don't have one anywhere else because their parents insist on these twisted ideologies.
That's all they have.
Every accusation is a confession. So, the chaos that surrounds us right now, it's scary. It's unlike anything that I've ever experienced. But you know what? America has gone through a lot bigger challenges in our very short existence. So we can beat this fascist train that is driving our country right now. We can stop it. And only we can stop it. That means, while these protests are great, I love it. I love this community. You need to dig in your own backyards. You need to go to your school board meetings. You need to go to your city council meetings. You need to sign up with RTS over here and tell these people what they need to do to take care of everyday Arizonans. I also encourage all of you to limit your personal data. Get off of these Broligard platforms. I don't have Meta anymore. I won't. I don't want Mark Zuckerberg giving my money. I did away with X a long time ago. You don't want these people to have access to your information. Take your money out of the big banks. Put them into a credit union. Talk with your wallet and let them know how you feel about the policies that are coming down from the White House and from the Arizona State Legislature.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Now, again, if this seems like the worst time in American history, think again. The promise of America has always been limited to a select few. And what we're seeing now is the erasure of the progress of the last 50 years. They are desperate to reverse the advancement of the rights of women, people of color, the LGBTQ community, and anyone who doesn't support their old-fashioned nationalist vision for America. What we're witnessing right now is their desperation, because they are loud and we are many. Say it with me. They are loud, but we are many. They are loud, but we are many. They are loud,